Greetings. This is my advanced repair mod, which is to vehicles as asymmetrical is to people. To get right into it, it all starts with the humble spare parts box. This is just a new item I've introduced, and it can be grabbed in the arsenal like any other. The spare part item only weighs a pound, and every single one is going to be important for fixing up vehicles. The system is mostly based on the ace remove wheel function, where normally you can remove a tire and add one back onto the vehicle, but now similarly, you can remove things like this large fuel tank from this tank. Once they're removed, you could end up fixing them if they're damaged and put it right back into the vehicle. In this case, this part is quite damaged, and I can repair it up 25% for each one of those spare part items I had in my inventory. Until eventually this part's back to full health, chip-chop shape, and I can shove it back in the tank. Parts that are completely destroyed, similar to how normal Ace with the wheels, are completely destroyed and thus cannot be repaired any longer. And just like that, we have fixed the fuel tank on this tank. Over here, we have our Hangar Queen. If we walk up to its Interact menu and diagnose the vehicle, we can actually get a list of a lot of important information. In the top left, we get the vehicle's name. In the top right, we get some intrinsic stats that are defined in the config and can be redefined by a simple mod. For example, World War II piston planes may want to have a piston engine instead of a turbine. Below all of this, we have the vehicle notes, which can be typed up and then saved. There's a variable behind this, should you be running a persistent mission, and you can have that variable be saved, so anytime the vehicle is diagnosed again, its notes will remain. Moving on, in the bottom left, we have the major part menu. This is whatever is considered a major part, such as an engine, a gun, a turret, a fuel tank, and so on. In the first column, we can see how healthy the part is. In the second column is the hit point name, which is mainly for scripting shenanigans. And finally, in the third column is the linked part. So this plane's using large turbine engines, large fuel tanks, and so on. In this menu, we can actually hit the remove selected part or replace part if it's at 0 HP to add parts back into the plane or remove them the same way you can add or remove them from outside of the plane. Our second menu to look into is the miscellaneous parts, which includes all of the hit points that aren't considered major. This includes things like the hull, a body, the glass, headlights, and so on. Now, this isn't perfect. In the case here, the hit fuel is in fact a bug. It normally should be considered a major class like the others we already have, but in this case it is not. In fact, hit fuel here represents all 4 fuel tanks of the plane. I'm not sure why, it's beyond me. But from this menu, we can easily click on something like the glass here and spend one of the repair parts we have in our inventory to fix it. If we want to fix things quicker, instead of having to go back and forth, we can click let's say hit glass 1 and repair all after, and it'll repair every single one after until it hits a full health object or you run out of parts. If we do it again, just like so. Currently, the fuel stats menu and the ammunition stats menu don't do anything. Frankly, I want to add some sort of fuel siphoning there, and ammunition stats is well beyond the scope of the project currently. Parts come in many types, sizes, and so on. This is categorized as best as I could using vanilla objects with my own icons added to them. On the farthest left, we have the large and small turbine engines. To the right of that, we have the piston engines, ranging from small, medium, and large. Then we have the large and small fuel tank. And silver, we mostly have aircraft-centered parts with the rotor assembly for helicopters, the control surfaces, which is rudder, aileron, elevator for aircraft, fixed wing, and the avionics, which is, well, your heads-up display. The final two items are the gun fire control, which is gun elevation and tanks and stuff, and turret drive, which is, well, the gun traverse and tanks. The large parts can only be dragged, take up 4 spaces in cargo. The mediums all can be carried, take it up 2, and the smalls only take up 1 space. In ace cargo, that is. The final thing to cover here is the settings for the mod, which includes major and miscellaneous parts, where we can set the amount healed for each spare part spent per action, of course. In this case, if we try and heal a gun FCS, we're going to heal it for 20% of its HP for every spare part spent. If we want, we could set that to heal it completely. You could, of course, set it to do nothing if you want a spare part just to never be able to heal something. With that, I have covered everything this mod currently includes. I would like to add more things as we go, maybe different spare part items, of course, the fuel siphoning so you don't just lose your gas when you empty the tank, or rather remove a full fuel tank, and many more things. If you have any problems, feel free to drop them in the comments. This is Fleff signing off.